So, remote ID is almost here. Or is it? There has been some buzz over the past few days from some pretty reliable sources that suggest maybe it's not just around the corner. Now, many people were speculating that the FAA is just not prepared for a number of reasons. So let's talk about that a little bit. And I also want to mention something that I haven't heard a whole lot of people talk about in regards to remote ID. So let's get started. Hi everybody, Russ here. Thank you for stopping by the channel. So I have it on good authority that the September 16th implementation of remote ID may actually be postponed. Now I take no credit for this information. I'm just passing it along. The first I heard of this was from Ken Herron. So if this information is wrong, feel free to razz him as much as you want. However, if it's right, you better go subscribe to his channel and also become a channel member. Speaking of channel memberships, I just added another level. It's called Air Support. It's only $1.99 per month for you to support the channel and get some extra content that you're not gonna normally see here on the channel. And the first thing that I'm gonna put on there for Air Support and Quad Squad members is this right here. This is the form that I use every time I go flying. I carry it with me everywhere I go. I have all my pre-flight information, all the information about my Part 107. It's got like 8 paragraphs to explain to people what I'm doing. Please don't talk to me until I've landed my drone and so on. So I know a lot of people have requested this. And so I'm gonna post this for my members. I'm gonna post the text. You can copy and paste it, use it however you want. So yeah, and so I'm gonna start adding more stuff to my channel memberships. I've been kind of slacking on that. I apologize for that. But for the Quad Squad, there's gonna be more behind the scenes stuff. There's gonna be more sneak peeks of videos. And then for the Air Support, I'm gonna add things like this. You know, not quite as much as the Quad Squad because it's only $1.99 per month, but we're gonna have some fun over there. So if you wanna become a channel member, there's a link in the video description. Now, speaking of this delay of remote ID implementation, I've also heard from one of the broadcast module manufacturers that they have received word to expect a big announcement coming from the FAA in the next few days. So one of the reasons that remote ID implementation is being delayed is because broadcast module manufacturers are way behind on having stock available. The industry as a whole did not fully anticipate the demand. Plus, they just did not have time to secure affordable materials to manufacture the modules at the necessary pace. You know, the expectation, at least from the FAA, was that we're gonna have a price between $50 and $100, but we are seeing an average price of these modules at about $250. And people are just not going to purchase them until that price comes down, at least a little bit. And the price is not gonna go down until people start purchasing them. So they're kind of stuck in a loop. And this means that the FAA is gonna be forced to pause the requirement for an indefinite amount of time. And that's pretty exciting, I know, for a lot of people, because there's so many people out there that I've seen in the comments or on other people's channels or in podcasts or just on Facebook channels and so many other places that say, I need a remote ID module and I can't get one because everything's on back order. Like some people have been waiting for months to get their broadcast module. And so what's gonna happen is they're not gonna get that module. They still have to fly or they still want to fly. They're gonna fly. So the compliance is gonna be so low that, and the FAA doesn't want that. They want people, you know, doing what they're supposed to do right away. So what's gonna happen is so many people are gonna be flying without it and they're never gonna get it. They're never gonna buy that broadcast module. See, this latest information really demonstrates like what a lot of people were thinking about remote ID. Our government and the FAA in particular are pretty poor at meeting deadlines and completing directives from our lawmakers. So I guess we'll see here very soon in the next few days if that September 16th date is gonna stick, but it sounds like they're gonna push that off a little bit. So, but now we do need to understand that even though it may be delayed, it's still gonna come. It's not gonna go away. And there's 2 things I think you can do that's gonna help you be prepared for it and kind of like diminish the pain, like ease the pain of remote ID. Number 1, I think you should find yourself a drone that weighs less than 250 grams as soon as possible. Like a drone that you're not required to register and one that, in my opinion, will never have to comply with remote ID. You know, some people think that the law will eventually spread to all drones, regardless of the weight, but I disagree with that mentality. I just think it's not feasible or reasonable to require compact drones to fall under remote ID regulations. So if you can find yourself like a good used Mini 2, like a DJI Mini 2, which is really affordable right now, or a Mini 3 even, or a Mini 3 Pro, or an Autel Nano, or something like that, get it. And sometimes you can find refurbished ones like on Amazon, but the best place to find gently used drones for sale is on the Facebook drone groups. There's so many out there. Like there's actually several just groups where people are selling their drones. So I would head over to Facebook and join some of those groups, and then you can start searching for drones that people are trying to get rid of. But honestly, if you can pull it off, I would just save up and get yourself a Mini 3 Pro. It is the ultimate remote ID free drone. And I'm actually starting to see a lot of those pop up on Facebook classifieds lately, and I'm not sure why. Now, the second recommendation that I have for you to help ease the pain of remote ID whenever it gets here, and it looks like you have a little more time now, is to study for and obtain your Part 107 Remote Pilot Certificate. Now, let me explain before you get triggered. So in the past 4 years, I have been approached 2 times by law enforcement and a handful of times from bystanders as I was flying doing real estate jobs. And every time I started those interactions with, "Hello, I am an FAA certified drone pilot. Please read this and I will visit with you as soon as I land my drone." And every single time they have been completely disarmed and flipped into more of a curiosity mode instead of an attack mode. That certification is a wonderful thing, you guys. Even if you have no intention of earning money with your drone, it lets people know that you know what you're doing and you took the effort to become certified, and you are most likely following all of the rules and regulations that exist. It makes you a professional, even though you may not be a professional. It's like having a worry about yourself card, but saying it in a more positive and non-threatening way. Now, I passed my exam easily by using an online prep course. Other people have passed theirs just by reading, articles, watching a lot of videos on YouTube. I needed the course because I require guided instruction and compartmentalized learning. Like, I need to have my information organized, and Drone Pilot Ground School provided that to me. Now, they are not sponsoring this video, but I'm telling you about them because there's absolutely no way that I would have passed my test without that prep course. The practice exam questions are pulled straight out of the FAA exam, word for word. So as soon as I was able to ace all of those practice exams, I was ready to take the test, and I got a 95%. Now, Drone Pilot Ground School has a 100% money back guarantee. So if you don't pass the first time, you're gonna get your money back. There's zero risk. And they're running a very limited time special right now for Labor Day, $100 off all of their course formats, which is the biggest sale that they've had so far. This is the time to start studying and pass your test before remote ID goes live and before that price goes up on that prep course. By all means, you don't have to get a study course, you guys, but if you're like me and you need that organization and you need that ability to reach out to somebody and they'll get back to you by the end of the day, then a prep course is the way to go, and you're not going to find a better one than Drone Pilot Ground School. Having your Part 107 is the best way to stop Karens right in their tracks immediately. Oh, and then there's one more thing that I want you to take away from this video. Just because you have your Part 107 does not mean you can't still fly recreationally. You can. It's like having the best of both worlds. You can fly an unregistered sub 250 gram drone for fun, but still let the world know that you are a certified drone pilot if that need should arise. It's the ultimate power against remote ID. Now, there's one thing that I want to hopefully educate some of you on, because there isn't much information actually about this out there, and there needs to be. And I can tell you that I am way less concerned about remote ID than I was just a year ago. And the biggest reason for that overall is because I've learned how limited the range actually is on broadcast remote ID, especially for iPhone users. So iOS app developers are restricted when it comes to Bluetooth. They can only use Bluetooth 4, which has a range of about as far as I can throw an apple, all right? It's horrible. Android app developers can use Bluetooth 5. So it's much better, like much better. It has much more reach, much more stable. Like I think it's over 1 kilometer reach. But what that means is 59% of the population, that's how many people own iPhones in the US, 59% compared to 41%, has to be within about 100 yards to be able to see you on their phone. And that doesn't even count altitude. So they're gonna have to be even closer to you. So I really don't think we're gonna see as many negative interactions as initially anticipated. For one, people have to know what remote ID is. Secondly, they have to know what apps to use. Like they have to find those apps and learn how to use them. Thirdly, most people will need to be so close to you. And then lastly, nobody's gonna take all that time and go through all of that trouble, unless they wanna steal from you maybe, which is pretty unlikely. You know, it's possible, but very unlikely. And even more so if you're in, you know, like a public place. Like the worst that's gonna happen is you're gonna piss somebody off. But again, if you let them know that you're a certified drone pilot, maybe they'll be like, oh, well, okay, I still don't like it, but at least you got your certification. You see, I think the worst thing that we're gonna see overall is angry neighbors calling the cops, and then eventually the cops just won't even respond to those calls. It will just be like noise to them because most of them have actual policing to do. So I don't think we're gonna have to worry about it as much as I did a year ago. So save up for a sub 250 gram drone, get yourself Part 107 certified, and wait it out. The consensus actually is in the drone community that remote ID will come eventually, but a lot of people think that it will also eventually fade away due to extreme non-compliance. Let me know what you think in the comments. Maybe I'm way off, but I'd like to see your opinion. If you received any value from this video, click on that thumbs up, become a channel member for extra stuff, subscribe for more updates on remote ID and other drone content. This fall is gonna be huge, you guys, and I mean huge. You're gonna love to see what's coming in the next 2 months. Thank you for watching the video today. Check out this video next. Have a great day, and as always, fly safe and fly smart.